I love doing this podcast.
I love hearing everyone's stories.
I love you.
I love our Airstream.
Listener, you are going to love this episode.
And we're here to spread the love because it's the Riveted.
With Chris and Gina. Today's guests, Gina, are probably some of the most popular Airstreamers, most well-known Airstreamers in the United States.
Oh, maybe I should have prepared more for this then. I don't know about this, Chris.
No, it's going to be great. This is awesome. Listener, we have a special treat today. We're honored to have some very popular Airstreamers on our podcast.
A lot of fun. They're a lot of fun.
They are. You know them. We know them. Everybody knows them. They have a super popular YouTube channel as well as being veteran Airstream owners and campers and RVers. It is the one and only Rich and Cindy Collins from LuvSubbin on our podcast.
Yay.
Welcome to the Riveted with Chris and Gina, you two.
Hi, you guys.
Hey. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks, Chris and Gina, for having us. We're that's quite an introduction.
It is.
KYD would have something to say about us being the most popular YouTubers.
No.
Loho, right?
Yeah,
look,
Loho too. But
we know you. Everybody knows you. You're a lot of fun, and your videos are great. And I mean, you know, here's the thing: you guys have, and you're going to tell us all about it, obviously. But we know you've had an Airstream for a long time. You're very experienced at what you do. You love what you do, and then it comes out in your videos. So, and it's pure and honest, and you're doing it for the right reasons. So we're excited to have you on the podcast, and we're very excited when you reached out and said, "Hey, we'd love to come on," and we were proud of that. So, what's going on with you two right now? Are you warm and cozy, or are you cold, or what's happening?
Well, we're currently on what we want to call a sabbatical,
sabbatical,
not a sabbatical, but a sabbatical.
Oh yeah,
because our Airstream is currently resting in Jacksonville Center.
Oh, it's returned home.
Oh,
it has returned home
to the mothership.
So I think it's getting a good coating of snow out in Jackson Center, but we could probably get into that later. But we've definitely have a little bit of work to be done on it.
You mean like for VIPs like you, they didn't put it in a special enclosed building until they were ready to work on it?
No, we were being treated just like everybody else. We had to wait.
But the one cool thing, you know, when you do get out like onto YouTube or you know, podcasting and stuff, we've had so many people come by as they drop their trailers off or as they're going through Jackson Center and then sending us pictures of them standing next to our Airstream, and it makes us feel good that
it does. I'm comforted to know that people are looking out for it.
That's cool. Yeah, that's neat.
That's kind of fun to have.
That's been fun.
Yeah, I just, you know, I mean, I know you guys are from the Northeast and are used to it, but from down here in the South where we are originally from, I just don't know that I'd want to be in Jackson Center, Ohio right now this time of year.
Well, anywhere up north right now.
Yeah.
So while your Airstream is in Jackson Center, where are you guys located?
Yep. So we are in southern Vermont.
Oh, still cold.
Yeah, it's very, very cold. Every time we drive up north, like at the end of the season, we actually spend like January and February usually up north here. People are like, "You're going in the wrong direction, man."
Yep.
But yeah, it's beautiful though. You know, the thing about Vermont is every time you tell somebody you're from Vermont, the next words out of their mouth is usually, "Oh, it's so beautiful up there."
Yes, it is.
You know, so
that's
and
true.
the summer temperatures are perfect here.
Yeah,
and we
don't have air conditioning.
That's a region of the country we've yet to travel in with our Airstream, but we know it is pretty. It's beautiful. We need to get up there for sure. And I'll say, I guess, you know, now's the better time for your Airstream to be at Jackson Center than in the peak of the camping season in the middle of summer. So you're doing it the right way, obviously.
Yeah, we're and actually probably by the time this has been released, it should be fixed. So
hopefully.
Yay.
Awesome.
Get ready to pick it up.
Yep. Yeah. They said our service date is next week.
Yep. So
good
that's
deal.
all good.
Well, we like to always start out with guests finding out about what caused them in their lifetime to decide to become Airstream owners? Like what was your entry point? Where did you say to yourselves, I want to look at these, or I want to buy an RV, or I want to get an Airstream, specifically, something like that. Like, where were you? What caused you to get started with Airstream ownership?
Well, two things. One, my parents did own an Airstream back in the day. They owned a 1988 Excella.
25-foot Excella.
Mm-hmm.
Fun.
And so they were going a lot of full-timing at that point when we were looking at an Airstream at the time. And we went straight from tent camping to an Airstream.
Yeah, we skipped the whole pop-up phase.
Yeah.
And it was because of them, too. We were seeing, whenever we'd get a phone call from them, the first thing out of our mouths were always, okay, where are you guys?
Mm-hmm.
And we thought that was just so cool.
And they were seeing some amazing things. And so we thought that would be a great way to get on the road and bring all your things with us. So we never considered another brand just because that's what they had.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good.
And at the time, we weren't really into like the Airstream Club or anything like that. We just wanted to go out and travel, and we wanted to see things. And going to a hotel was just like, it just wasn't working that much. I mean, they're expensive.
Yeah.
Well, and they're expensive. And at the time, we would have been weekend warriors as well. Yep. And so this enabled us to get to see things that we might not have been able to see otherwise.
Yep.
Sure.
What we like about circumstances like you're talking about with the hotels is we like having our home with us, where we don't have to pack a suitcase and unpack a suitcase every time we change locations.
Yeah, it's a hassle.
Yep.
Once you get used to having everything with you, it really becomes like a logistical hassle to deal with that.
Yeah.
And we joke with our family. Sometimes we go down to Disney, and we would every second would rather stay at Fort Wilderness in our RV versus the most exclusive,
right? The fancy hotels they have down there.
Yeah, at Disney. Our family. My brother and my sister sometimes look at it and like, "What do you mean you want to rather stay in your camper than this huge resort?"
Yep.
It's exactly for that reason. Our bed is our bed. Our coffee. We don't have to spend $9 a cup of coffee.
Right.
Yeah. We have breakfast whenever we want it.
Yep.
Yeah.
But that RV resort at Disney is pretty nice.
It is.
It is. It's one of our favorites.
Yeah, it's certainly one of our favorites. But it was built in '72, and even with our little 22-footer, getting in and out of some of those sites at Fort Wilderness is dicey.
They were not built for the bigger rigs that they have these days.
Sure. Yep. So tell us what you have. I mean, I know in your videos everybody knows what you have and that kind of stuff, but just tell us the kind of Airstream you have, when you got it, how
give us the details,
all that stuff.
Okay, so we bought it on April 11th, 2002, and we know that date because every year we celebrate our stream anniversary.
Yes.
And we have a big, little celebration, which for us usually consists of a bottle of wine.
Wow.
But that is the day we bought it.
Stream-iversary. I like that.
Stream-iversary. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You know what I like about that is that
what's that?
That is my birthday, April 11th. So I know that the two of y'all were celebrating on my birthday as well.
That's pretty correct.
I like that.
And this year we will raise a toast to Gina as well as the Love Sub this year.
Thank you. I love it.
Yeah, I like that term. Is that a trademark term or copyrighted term? Did y'all come up with it, the Airstream anniversary?
I think we sort of did come up with it.
We did, and it will be copywritten shortly after this podcast.
I'll make sure you get all that taken care of before we put this one out. That's great. Yeah.
But we bought it from Don Mar RV in Lynchburg, South Carolina. It's right off of I-95. If you're driving in the northern section of I-95, you might see some. I don't think they do Airstreams anymore.
I don't know in what form it exists now, but back then they did have brand new Airstreams, and they also sold vintage Airstreams as well.
Oh, cool. Right. Yeah.
And it's where Cindy's parents bought their Airstream from.
Yes. And
that's neat.
We were originally going to go with a vintage Airstream because we didn't have a whole lot of money back in the day. And so we bought a Flying Cloud?
We bought a 1959 19-foot Globetrotter.
Globetrotter,
wow.
And we sent her parents a check for $6,000 and said, go ahead and pick this one up for us.
And my dad collected it and brought it back to their house and started tearing it apart just to see, what we could do with it, and discovered that it was not in good shape.
Yeah. So,
because
they had a really good relationship with this dealer, they called them up and they said, yeah, go ahead and bring it back. We'll give them their check back.
Yep. And so we were there when they brought it back, and he just said, well, we'll write you a check for it. But, while we're getting everything in the paperwork done, why don't you take a walk around the lot and see if there's anything else you might want to look at?
Oh,
And
he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
That walk around the lot cost us $34,000.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we picked up. We had we knew we were bringing the 1959 Globetrotter back. And I don't think you can get 59 Globetrotters for $6,000 anymore.
Nope.
They're a little bit
Nope.
more than that. But we brought it back. We knew we were bringing it back, so we started doing some research, and we had basically decided on what.
I thought we were looking at a 19-foot Bambi, right?
Yeah, just figuring the size.
Mhm.
And then Cindy walked into this one.
Yes, but then we started looking at the new international line, which was the CCD model and the AS model.
Right.
Yes.
And Cindy walked into this one, looked at the kitchen in the back. If you guys have seen our videos in the back, the huge kitchen.
Yep.
And just said, "Done. This is it."
Yeah.
I didn't like the interior decorations as much as I did the CCD, but the CCD was not practical as the AS version, and so I just love the kitchen of the AS version, and it was sold.
So we ended up with a 2002 22-foot international AS.
Yeah.
And at the time, if you remember, it was a really interesting transitional time for Airstream because Dickie Regal, who many or you may have heard of, was the CEO of Airstream at the time. And for 2002, they decided to do two things. They were going to launch something called a CCD, which was Christopher C. Dean.
Yep.
And they were going to do some crazy stuff. Dickie was a young guy, and he didn't want to build what he called your grandmother's Airstream.
He was looking to modernize the whole look. And so that 2002 was the first year that they did the CCD with Christopher Dean. They had the aluminum walls. They had the lucite cabinets. They had some funky colors. Yep, bright colors.
And everything.
And they also, I think, were the first unit to have a desk, a separate desk for office work.
The CCD had a desk for all. In 2002, we're looking like, who the heck is going to work out of an Airstream? This is ridiculous. You can't do work out of an Airstream. You can't do that.
Now everybody's asking for one.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
literally in 02 had
one of the first units. Yeah, one of the first units to have that.
But we liked the galley. So we bought the AS. And what Dickie was going to do was run these AS design, which was kind of your grandmother's Airstream But
we did have some aluminum parts to it, but it was beige from one end to the other.
It was carpeting and beige. And
so a little fun fact, if you ever go to Jackson Center and go into their waiting room for the service department, the upholstery that they use in the service center waiting room is the same upholstery that we had in our Airstream.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it was so hideous. They had so much extra of it. They just used it to
they had to use it some way.
Right.
Yep.
So Dickie was going to let those two run together, and he was going to throw out the CCD thing in 2002 to see how it went. And literally ours lasted 2 years. I think the AS was the 02, the 03, and the 04 model year. And that ended. And what you see in today's Airstream, probably, guys, what your Airstream looks like, and every other Airstream on the planet these days with the aluminum.
It was the evolution of the CCD.
It started with that 22-foot, and I think they did a 25 and a 28 CCD that year. And it took off from there, and the Airstream world has changed dramatically from that moment.
Yeah, they
so
kind
of. Go ahead.
I was going to say they kind of credit that CCD design as a not really a rebirth, but definitely a pivotal transition point in Airstream's future or history, right?
Yeah, I would absolutely. I could not speak in higher terms, not just pivot, like a catastrophically pivotal. I mean, it has totally changed the entire Airstreaming community. When we first bought our Airstream in 2002, literally the number one question we got asked every single time someone saw it was, "Hey, do they still make those things?"
Yeah.
Yes.
They were not usual to see on the road.
We were always the only one at a campground, and if we saw one in a 300-mile tow, we were excited.
Yeah, that's right.
And now they're everywhere. So that CCD that launched that whole thing really changed the whole look of Airstream. The company, I think the average age of the Airstream owner was in the 70s or something.
Yeah,
like
it just sort of revitalized the brand, I think.
Yep.
And so in all these years, you bought it brand new in 2002, so it's over 20 years old now and stuff. So you've never had the compelling desire to change and get something different or new?
Nope, never.
Yeah.
You know, and even with the little issue we have now, people are like, it's time to get something different. And we're like, no way.
We did have the interior redone in 2007.
We did have that beige.
It was beige
carpeting ripped out.
Yeah, beige from one end to the other. So we redid it in some decor that was more our taste.
Yeah, what you see in our LuvSubbin videos is what we did in 2007.
Right.
So, and it's time for another refurb, we think.
Yeah, I think it needs to be updated a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's obviously you guys love it and it's become part of you, I'm sure, over all these years. So making a major change has got to be compelling enough to do, right?
Well, even in making a change, would you guys consider like trading it or selling it, or would you just keep it just to have it and just buy a new one if you decided to do that ever?
We would never have another one. Like some people have like multiple
major.
Yeah, we would never trade it in. We would never get another one to replace it or anything. We've even joked that, you know, being the famous YouTubers that you guys brought us up at the beginning of the introductions there, you know, if Airstream came up to us and said, hey, we've got a 30-foot classic that we'll give you for free, it's all yours, we'd be like, yeah, thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah.
You know, we just it is literally a part of us. And
well, and I think articulating it that way just is another example of many that we talk about on this podcast about what makes Airstream so special. Is you guys have such a connection to your trailer, and a lot of it's got to do with the design, the appeal, everything about it. It's just it's yours, and you would never want to get rid of it. And it also, even though you've talked about like some styling and some decor and some changes and that kind of stuff, it's still like Airstreams never go out of style. Their styling, their design is
well, that's why we have so many vintage Airstreams on the road still today.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it brings me up to a kind of a funny story. I was at a gas station once.
Yeah.
And I was filling up with gas, and the guy comes up, and you could tell he's looking around. He goes, "Excuse me, sir." He goes, "That's a beautiful Airstream." I'm like, "Hey, thanks." He goes, "If you don't mind my asking, can I ask you how much you paid for the thing?" I said, "Yeah, no problem at all. $34,000. And the guy's like, "Holy Toledo, I thought those things were a lot more expensive than that."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, it's 23 years old. It's 22 years old." And the guy he couldn't believe that it was 22. And we still get that. People are like, "Is that new?" And we're like, "No, it's 20 something years old."
Yeah.
They stay looking good on the exterior for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the thing that's cool about that point is we had early in the podcast, we had James Shaw on, the younger kid that's so passionate about vintage Airstreams. I don't know if you've...
I don't think he'd appreciate you calling him a kid.
Well, younger gentleman, younger guy, excuse me. Maybe that's a better way to put it.
He's the head of the vintage Airstream, right?
He is. Yeah. He's amazing.
We met him in Sedalia.
Yeah, super cool guy. Well, anyway, he made a point on his episode, which makes a lot of sense, is that, you know, people may have that thought that Airstreams are very expensive. And the price points of brand new ones right now will get your attention, but you could find a 20-year-old one that's less expensive, and you could still enjoy the brand. And he made that very clear. He said, you know, it really just comes down to your budget, finding something that you can maybe put a little bit of sweat equity into, or if you like what it has to offer and it's safe and reliable, you can get into this, to the brand and the community, at a much less price point than what you see the new ones for.
That is correct.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Our Airstream becomes vintage in 2 years, so I can't wait to join the vintage Airstream club.
Yeah, there you go.
Parade, and people are going to be like, "Huh?"
Yeah, and that just is it shows how much time flies, right?
It does.
Yeah. So tell us about the name. The you call it the LuvSub, right? And so then you parlayed your channel into LuvSubbin. So tell us the fun backstory about how that name came about.
Well, this is another question that a lot of people ask us, just because it is an unusual name. And a lot of people think it was because we were substitute teachers back in the day. That was one theory.
Or I was a submariner. That's the other thing that people are like, oh, were you in the Navy? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
But actually, I think a lot of people name their Airstreams. I think it's like a boat or a yacht. And it just hits you when it comes to
when it's the right name, I think it will hit you.
And so there was a Wall Street Journal article from, I think it was 2000 or 1999 or something. And it was Anthony Edwards, who is, of course, best known as Goose from Top Gun.
Right.
Yes.
At the time, he was playing ER. He was playing a doctor in ER. And he had actually an Airstream as his backlot trailer. And he had told the reporter, he's like, why don't you come back to my little love sub and we'll go ahead and do the interview in there type thing. Huh. And in the article, it was pronounced LOVE sub, but
we decided to do LUV.
Yeah, we didn't want any legal action from Goose from Top Gun.
Yeah, you don't want him coming after you.
Fly by.
So, but it just stuck. And from that moment on, we just called it the Love Sub.
Yep, or the sub.
Or the sub. And in the state of Vermont, you are required to, when you get a vanity plate, include a description
of why you want to name it that.
Right.
For what reason?
Yeah.
Because sometimes the DMV can't tell what the vanity plate means, and they, of course, want to have some sort of control over that. And so we just wrote, our camper looks like a submarine, and we love it. And we got the Love Sub vanity plate, and it was okay with the state of Vermont. So
there you go.
Wow.
That's where
that's
awesome.
The story.
That's kind of the story. So
that's great.
And I think sometimes it's a little. It may not help the channel a little bit.
Well, I think it's more unusual than some of the ones that are all draveling or wandering.
Right.
Or...
We've debated whether it's a good name or not, but we've stuck with it. So
it's very unique for sure, and I think it draws attention across all aspects, and that is a good thing. And you as fun and energetic as you guys are on your videos, I think the title goes along with that.
Yep.
Now, do y'all carry flamingos and pineapples with y'all wherever y'all go?
It's fun. I don't think we actually carry a bunch of those.
just one or two
flamingos here and there.
Yeah, we've got lots of flamingo stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
And we just bought 2 flamingos. Remember in the town of Mississippi?
Yeah, I mean we've got
Massachusetts.
Yep, in the official place. We actually visited where the pink flamingo was actually invented. The guy who invented the pink flamingo, the plastic pink flamingo.
Oh, really? Where was that?
Yep. It's in Leominster, Massachusetts.
Oh.
And
so we had to buy a pair of log flamingos from there because ours were starting to break apart.
Yeah.
He's a very rich man at this point.
I bet so.
I think he's a very dead man.
Yeah, he died.
Well, his estate, I should say, I guess. But yes.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we don't get into the whole flamingoing,
Yeah.
No, we haven't done that, but we have been flamingoed.
We have been flamingoed. Yeah. And we, of course, have all the flamingo boxer shorts and purses and hats and all that other kind of stuff that we just love. Yeah,
we got one of the first Airstream rallies we went to, a small, unit rally we went to, and we won a door prize, which was this. It was a flamingo made out of wood on a metal leg and a wooden stand. It was kind of like almost like a contemporary looking flamingo. It wasn't.
Yeah,
it wasn't the typical pink like you would see.
No, it was like a dusty color. Or more of like a when you think of the farmhouse look or whatever.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Like a
design.
A farmhouse cheek flamingo.
Chic. Yeah.
But that's the only flamingo that we own. And then we came across. And it's been several camping seasons ago now, a outdoor lightweight mat that I found actually at Home Depot that had, it was a white mat and it had pink flamingos on it. And then if you flipped it over, it was a pink mat with white flamingos.
Yeah, it was really cool. Everybody loved it.
Yeah, everybody loved it. But it literally...
Well, it disintegrated after we had it out in 110 temperature in the desert.
We basically got 2 seasons out of it, and it drove apart. But that's our extent of flamingo.
We've had 2 flamingos left on our door.
Oh, we have had that. Yeah,
we had one like the little. If you think of like the little rubber toys or whatever, where you can shape the arms and the legs and all that.
Legs.
Yeah, we were at a rally in Ohio.
Yeah, got that.
And someone wrapped you had the little flamingo and wrapped the arm around our door handle. And chances are they were just giving those out to everyone who was attending the rally, but there wasn't a note or anything. It was just on our door. And then somewhere else we were, that someone had taken little flamingos and used, like, what do you call those base, the little metal washers, I guess, little metal washers you put between a screw and something of the wood. They had glued a flamingo onto those little washers, and somebody had set one on our steps.
Yeah.
And that was just randomly out somewhere. I can't remember where we were.
Only two we've ever gotten. No, we're more we're not a huge collector of this either. It's really got to be a particular one, but obviously our last name's Fox, so we try to find unique looking foxes to keep around. And so I don't know, maybe the foxes are eating the flamingos.
You never know. Well, I think that whole thing developed from the Jeep crowd, right? Where they give ducks to each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
You see these Jeeps with ducks all on the dashboard. I think it's kind of evolved from that.
Yeah,
it could be. Yeah.
It's fun. It's fun. So let's pivot and just talk about your YouTube channel. Like what caused you to start it, and obviously all the different types of videos you put out. It's very aware of what you're trying to provide to the Airstream community and just anybody that is interested. But
sure,
what got you started with wanting to do the YouTube stuff?
Well, I think we got started just because we enjoyed watching a lot of YouTube at the time.
Yep.
And we thought we might be able to contribute some how-tos.
Right. But it really, the genesis of it was we took a trip to Europe with my family. And it was we rented a 69-foot canal boat, and the family went on the canals of Europe.
Wow.
And it was awesome.
It was back in 2014, 13.
Yeah, 2013, I think.
Sounds
and
great.
I was like, look, and the rest of the family, the aunts, the uncles, dad, everybody were like, look, I'll just go ahead and get a camera. I'll
A GoPro.
It was actually a GoPro I bought.
GoPro, yeah.
I still use a Hero 3 GoPro for those of you who know GoPros. That's like ancient.
We got one.
Yep. So, and I said, look, I'll just start a YouTube channel. I'll download the videos, and then the whole family can watch these videos. And so we made about 8 or 9 2-3 minute videos. They're all still on the channel if somebody wants to go look at the Narrowboat playlist.
Yep.
But every time my family got together, we would get together and watch these things.
Yeah, it was like the family slideshow.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so we would watch them, and we're like, this is pretty cool, being able to see, as opposed to just a photo album of a trip. We were able to see things and be a part of that event.
And your dad just had passed away a year later. And so it was, we were able to see your dad. And
oh, yeah. That's good.
And that was very special.
Mm-hmm.
But what kind of triggered the channel was when we opened them up once, and one of our channel videos had gotten 30,000 views,
and we had like 15 subscribers. I'm like, this was like our 8 family videos that we put out, and we're like 15 people subscribed to us.
Yeah,
they watched 30,000 people watched this. It was the tour of the Narrowboat.
Yes.
Video. And so we're like, maybe we can do this.
Maybe we can do this. And so our first official video was the region rally.
Yep. And that came out in the end of 2018. So there was that gap from 2013 to 2018.
And I think someone asked us to do that video just because they wanted to get some campgrounds to pay attention to what our region rallies were about.
Right.
Yeah.
So we did that, and then we started doing some how-tos because, like Cindy said, we've been doing this for 20 something years.
Yep.
And at the time,
and we didn't see a lot of Airstream specific how-tos back then because, not a lot of people were buying them at that point.
Right. So like the second video we ever did was how to climb onto the roof of your Airstream.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I think Colonial Airstream had done one, but there was not a whole lot of stuff on there.
So we just thought we could hopefully help people out a little bit.
Yep. So we just started we started focusing on the how-to videos.
To start.
And even to this day, when you look at the analytics from YouTube's, people watch our how-tos a lot. They go back and watch them. The people, they watch them. The older videos still get views.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whereby most of our travel videos, which are the ones we like actually making the most,
never ever do as well as the how-tos, which kind of makes sense.
Yeah. So, but we like to do the travel videos. We like to do occasionally cooking videos.
Yep.
And the how-tos and occasional the other travel videos as well.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, and the thing that all of that has in common is the Airstream. Like that is what is compelling you to create this content and put it out to the world, is because of your passion for the brand.
And we have, I think you mentioned it, and we really appreciated the compliment there. We have fun doing it too.
Yes.
And it's never, it might be a pain in the neck sometimes to get the editing done in time.
It doesn't feel like work though. And since we split the editing between the two of us now,
yes,
it lightens the load a bit.
That's cool. Yeah.
So we when we started, I did 100% of the editing. And there was a couple of times where Cindy's like, "Can you just delete this?" And I'm like, "You know what it's going to take for me to delete that 2-second little thing? It's going to be a disaster." And she's like, "Well, just delete it."
This sounds like our conversation.
Yeah, it does.
Exactly. I'm going to show you how difficult this is to delete this. And so I started teaching her how to, and now it's a 50-50 back and forth. Every one of our videos, it's a completely collaborative affair.
Yeah, that's great.
That is good. So let's geek out for just a minute and like tell us like what's your tools of the trade for that kind of stuff? What do you use?
Yep. So from a camera perspective, we use a Canon EOS M6 with just the regular lens. We invested in the Rode lapel microphones.
Yep.
Everything we've learned has said you can mess up the lighting a little bit, you can mess up the editing a little bit, but if your sound is crap,
yep.
Yeah,
that's a kiss of death for a YouTube video, and probably for a podcast too. I would guess.
Makes sense.
The sound is crap.
Yes.
Yeah. No, you're right.
So, and we do have the DJI Mavic Mini drone, which we try and keep the drone shots appropriate. We have an Insta360 camera, which we're
still learning how to use that one in a way that would make sense for our videos.
Yeah, and that's really, we use Adobe Premiere
Elements.
Yeah, that's our editing software, and we do it on a laptop.
Yep.
Yeah.
And one kind of tidbit that really unbelievably helped us is that I think it was during COVID, right? It was during COVID.
Yeah, we had plenty of time on our hands.
And so what did we do?
We took a course by Casey Neistat.
Yeah,
he's a big YouTuber, kind of the goat of
he's
YouTube.
the total goat of YouTube, Casey Neistat.
And it was a video course on storytelling.
Yep.
Which really helped our channel evolve, I guess.
Yeah, because his point here was you don't need a lot of expensive gear. You need an iPhone, and that's basically it. And it was all about telling the story. And we try and do that with all of our videos, is to tell kind of a story, have a beginning, a middle, and an end.
And his focus was that if it doesn't make sense to the story, and even if it's the best piece of video that you've got, it still goes to the cutting room floor because it's not really adding anything to the video.
Right.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
It does.
Yeah, we learned a lot from that, and so we tried to make, and also music is.
Yes, I do the music, and I did learn a lot about music from the Casey Neistat video course as well.
Yeah, we use a service called Epidemic Sound, which we pay $15 a month for,
and it's copyright-free music.
Right. So, and that's one of the big pieces of advice for any YouTubers: start off with copyright-free music, because
when you do get monetized, you're gonna regret not having done that at the beginning if you're planning on getting monetized.
Right.
Oh yeah, because it would, like anything that does have that in it wouldn't count, I guess, right?
You wouldn't be able to monetize it.
Yeah. And is that copyrighted music service you're using? Like that, it's not video YouTube specific. Like we could even use something like that for our podcast.
No, so you could, you could use it for anything. Now, YouTube does offer its own
selection of music.
Yeah. So YouTubers that don't want to pay $15 a month, but that music is available to anybody. And it's just like Cindy says, we don't watch TV anymore. The TV we watch are basically sporting events. Is about the only thing we watch on TV these days. And so we just noticed a lot of YouTubers using Epidemic Sound.
Yeah.
Well, and what I like about Epidemic Sound, and not only does it have music, it's very searchable, but it also has sound effects too, which sound effects can really kind of add things to your video. Like, if you want to put typewriting in the background, or maybe fireworks music, or people clapping or saying hooray. So
I got that.
That's
Listen.
what I like about it as well.
Yeah. See, I have that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You guys don't need Epidemic Sound. You're all over this.
Well, that's one of the. I've got 6 different ones plus a censor button. That's
and Chris loves playing with his buttons.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have the fun stuff for my voice. Check this out.
I like this one the best. it's called the pitch up.
I like that one.
We tried a voice thing for one video, didn't we?
I don't know if we. Oh yeah, we did. Which one was that?
I forget what we.
Oh no, it was the Flamingo one that we did for Airstream Club. Remember, you did that. You played the guy who didn't vote and regretted it.
Oh yeah.
Well,
yeah, that was the one time we did. We actually we don't do a lot of videos for other folks or other entities. We're very careful as far as what we do, but we did do a video for the Airstream Club when they wanted
to get the vote out for
the finance.
That's right.
The constitutional change for the finances. And so, we just were trying to encourage people just to vote, whether you voted against it or for it, just get the vote out.
That makes sense. Well, I want
to get them involved too.
Yeah, I want to ask one other geeky question, and it may bore the listener, so we may end up cutting it out anyway. But anyway, I got to ask it because I'm sure that you guys struggle with this. So you have all this amazing video footage. Some of it's the raw video, others is the finished video, all that kind of stuff. So what do you guys do for backup protection for all of that content? It's huge amounts of data, and then what do you do to protect it?
Well, we do have the hard drives.
Yeah, everything we keep is on a portable hard drive. And recently we had some YouTuber, I forget who it was, they destroyed one of their hard drives by putting it into a briefcase or backpack. So you I
made a little sleeve for the hard drive, a little padded sleeve, so that they don't get beat up when you put them into a case or a purse or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything we keep, all of our raw footage is on portable hard drives. And then, of course, the finished stuff right now, unless YouTube gets blown up or something like that. I mean, it's always on YouTube.
It's permanently on YouTube.
Right. So, I got you. Okay, well, that's good.
That's what we do. We have separate hard drives that we use.
We do, yeah. But I'm just trying to make sure that I don't want this tidal wave to hit me all of a sudden of all of this data that we have from these episodes to I have to move it and manage it, and it gets more than I can bear. So I'm trying to make sure I got the right plan for all that.
And that's important for us too, as we do, like when we're on our 5-month or 6-month trips, because then we'll actually be like a couple months behind, is making sure everything's organized. And,
well, you have to open up the memory space on the camera as well. Right. So, we're going to be putting things in folders so that we know this is for this part of the trip. This is for this part of the trip. So
yeah,
we do that. That's and cool. Sort it out, even though we haven't made the video for it yet.
Yep.
That's smart.
I have a question for you guys with your YouTube channel. Do y'all get a lot of feedback from your viewers? And if so, what kind of unexpected piece of feedback have you received from a viewer that actually inspired you to do a future video?
That's a good question, Gina.
Yeah.
I can start with we do get a lot of comments. Obviously, it's always good to get the comments and stuff like that.
We did do a microphone adjustment based on one person's comment because he was listening to us in stereo and I was on the wrong side of his stereo.
Yeah, he's like, I'll switch sides and stuff like this. Well, we had one video that I'll talk about here briefly that went, actually for us, it's our #1 viewed video of all time. And it's got over 350,000 views.
Yeah.
And it was titled Visiting Our Land Scam. And my parents got scammed into buying a piece of property back in the 60s and nobody had ever seen it. So the point of the video was, we're going to go see this video.
And we did this more for the family, not so much for our channel, because our family had never seen his family had never seen the land and didn't, know what it looked like or anything like that. So we made a point of going to find it.
But the problem with that is because it said scam, that picked up on something with the YouTube algorithm, and they threw it out all over the place. So
outside our normal,
right. So the
community.
RVer community is really nice. They really are nice people.
Yep.
The general internet community is not full of a lot of nice people.
Sure.
And so some of the comments we were getting, like, that's why I don't allow your wife is why I don't allow my wife to vote, was one of them.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Someone said I bought my husband at Costco.
Yeah. And it was just all these people, like, they're like, why don't you go back to your big city out east and like New York? I'm like, we live on a dirt road in Vermont. What are you talking about?
Right.
Living in a big city.
Yeah, as they said, they clearly had never seen a cow before, and we have more cows than people here, right?
I mean, so that was a lot of feedback we got that was just entertaining to us. Feedback that we do get some sound quality, and that's why we did invest in we invested in those Rode microphones, because a couple people said your sound is.
Yeah, I have a soft voice, so I think that the microphone does help with my sound quality.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the other thing we do is whenever we watch a YouTube channel or we get a comment from somebody, I keep a spreadsheet, and we did a video just recently. In fact, it was the one we dropped last week on hot dogs. We did some hot dog videos in Troy, New York.
Mm-hmm.
And one of our viewers literally commented, you need to go to this particular hot
Town.
dog place.
Yep.
And so that's written down on that spreadsheet.
Yep.
As we get comments,
suggestions of where to go, things to see.
Yep.
Oh,
Stuff
yeah.
like that.
That's cool. Yeah. So, like, you're taking their feedback and then you're going to see those places and then creating a video around it.
Yeah, that's great.
Yep. And it's really good to get local knowledge if you can get it.
Right. Somebody commented that, the actual RV that was used by Uncle Eddie in the Christmas vacation, that's literally in a museum in Ohio.
Wow.
And somebody commented on that the video. And so that got written down.
Yep.
And the next time we're outside of Cleveland, you're going to see us going to see Cousin Eddie's RV, because that's, we wrote that down.
That's
and
cool.
So it's not so much, we don't get a lot of feedback except for the audio about, content, or you should do this or that. But somebody will just mention something, and then
that's pretty awesome.
That spreadsheet for a future episode.
Well, when you make that trip to Cleveland, now here's the other thing you have to do and see is, and it's still Christmas themed, is you got to go by where the house from A Christmas Story movie was filmed. The Red Ryder BB gun.
That one.
Oh yeah, I'm telling you, it's right there in a suburb of Cleveland, and that's it's amazing.
Cleveland's a great town. We say that no matter where we travel,
there's always something interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, people
always. Yes,
it doesn't matter whether you're in Cleveland or Iowa or or the Keys. There's always something awesome to see.
Yeah, and sometimes you have to dig for it, but I enjoy doing that, digging for something local to eat or something interesting to see.
Well, and eating local and hanging out where the locals are, that's where we get our best info from.
Sure.
Is, we'll sit, instead of, if we go to a restaurant, instead of sitting at a table, just the two of us, we'll set up the bar and strike up conversation and find out who's local there and what's there to see while we're in town.
Yep.
That's
a good way to do it.
Yeah, we like it.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so tell us about chain socks. Like we want a pair, and because we're at the 7-year mark with our Airstream, and our chains look a little rough for wear, and so tell us about that project. That sounds really cool.
It's just something we're having fun with. So we do the vendors and exhibitors for the Airstream rally, and so we work with aircrafters. They're the people who put the generators underneath your Airstream. They do a lot of custom work. They work with Vinny's North Bay Airstream. And so they did a one-off covering.
It was a promotion.
It was just a promotion.
For their company.
And it said aircrafters on it. And it was just those little chain sock-like things. And Sean was like, hey, you want 2 of these? I'm like, yeah, sure. That look pretty cool.
Yep.
And so I put them on the Airstream. They look very similar to what we came up with. Mm-hmm. And we got a lot of comments on the YouTube videos, people saying, hey, where do you get those?
Or even just people walking around looking at them.
Yeah,
just
the campground.
What are these? Why?
So I would send them to Sean
Yeah,
Bledsoe from Aircrafter.
Mm-hmm.
And Sean's like, "Nah, I ain't doing these. This was just a one-off, promotional thing." And, for the folks that like Aircrafters, I mean, they're doing like $10, $15, $20,000 modifications. Right. They don't want to be messed. They don't want to mess with something like that.
Yep.
And so we went to Sean and said, "Hey, can I make these?" And he's like, "Yeah, no problem. Go ahead and do it." So we just started making these.
We just came up with how to do it, and I did the logo, and
you copyrighted the logo.
I copyrighted the logo. Yeah.
Yep.
And it just went from there.
Yeah. And so we started selling these things. If you want to go to LuvSubbin.com, we've got a place where you can buy them. And, it makes a beat up chain look good.
Mm-hmm.
But if ever your chains bottom out, there's actually something from Cal Fire that says that you should cover your chains.
Yeah.
Just in case for those sparks.
In fire prone area.
Yep.
So, it serves the dual, obviously it's not going to protect against a chain that's dragging, but if ever you were to hit like a pothole or something, your rig bounces, it'll keep it from sparking. And they look kind of snazzy, we think, at least.
Yeah.
And for us, it's just a fun project. I mean, it's not like,
Well, we'll see where it goes. Yeah, we're having fun putting them together.
Yeah.
Handmade in Vermont.
Yeah.
I think it sounds like a great idea.
I could tell that it was like a passion project and you were having fun with it. And that's why I wanted to ask about it, because it logically makes a lot of sense, just from a aesthetic standpoint, but also, the part about if it should drag, if it should spark, it's definitely an extra layer of protection there.
So we'll see where it goes.
Yeah. I've thought to myself, and this is like 2 full seasons now that I haven't done it, but I've thought to myself, well, I'm going to take the time and I'm going to get some of that really heavy duty paint and paint over the chains just to get rid of the grunginess, because there is a little bit of rust in a couple spots, and like just at least make them all look consistent again. But then when I saw your chain socks, I was like, well, I can do that without, just put those on, which is awesome.
Yeah, but our chains have been dragging the ground for 8 years, so.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
not dragging, but been out in the weather.
Yeah, well, and what I do is I take my hooks and I hook them to the where the chains themselves are bolted onto the tongue. So whenever I unhitch, I take and hook those hooks into those too, which causes the chain itself to just kind of sag down. And depending on the tongue height for level, sometimes those chains can touch the ground. And I've just never thought about it. And then now flash forward several years, and where the middle of the chain is, where it would have touched the ground, that's where I'm seeing surface rust.
Yep. Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So it's that's cool. Well,
you have to get you a pair, babe.
Yeah. Are they? Do you have to get properly fitted? Are they size specific? Like, do I need a size 8 or a size 8.5, or like what's the?
Actually, we do. Actually, this is something we use the equalizer hitch.
Yeah.
We love the equalizer hitch. And so we only made one size
initially,
and then we gave one to somebody, and it's like, yeah, it didn't fit. And I'm like, what do you mean it didn't fit? He goes, well, I've got a Pro Pride hitch. And so
those are much larger.
Yeah, they are.
The Pro Pride, you get the Stinger and all this other stuff. So we now have 2 sizes. We have a Pro Pride Hensley, and then kind of everybody else.
Yeah, there you go.
So if you have a Pro Pride, you have a different size.
Yes.
So I want to do something fun, if that's okay with you guys.
We like doing fun
You like
stuff.
doing fun stuff?
Yeah, we do.
So our last couple of episodes or so, we have encouraged our listener to send us a message at info@therivetedfox.com. And they've done that. And one really cool, they kind of a question or whatever, but they kind of gave me some starting points with it. And then I've kind of built off of that. But I thought it was really cool. They said that we should play a this and that question with some of our guests. And so I'd like to for y'all to be our first one, actually. And I'd like to play a this and that little question. Y'all can answer individually, or you can answer it, together if it's something that you like together.
This is really great idea, Gina. I'm glad you brought this up, because like they have themselves out on YouTube. I mean, people probably know them as good as they know family. So now this might be good.
This might be something fun for them.
Yeah, like people might hear things that they don't know about Rich and Sam.
Yeah.
You never know.
They may very well.
So let's spend the next minute or so just doing that.
Is this a rapid fire kind of thing, or is this?
Yeah, let's do it kind of quick.
Oh, this will be great.
Yeah, let's not sit here and think about it and talk about each one. We just want to get a what comes to you very quickly. And Nick, you can agree or you can agree to disagree on this, but
we don't want to start no fight or nothing.
Oh yeah, that's the fun part.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Y'all ready?
We're ready.
Okay. Mountains or beach camping?
I like mountains.
Beach.
Winter snow or summer stars?
Summer stars.
Summer stars. We live in Vermont. We don't want much snow.
Waterfall or mountain lake swim?
I think waterfalls because I don't do mountain lake swims.
I like the mountain lake swim.
Okay. Canoeing or rock climbing?
I'd say neither.
Let's not exert any energy, right?
Yeah.
We've done rock climbing.
Yeah, we've done rock climbing, but you're the canoeist. Is it canoer or canoeist?
Canoeist.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We'll let y'all pass on that one then.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Okay. Sunrise or sunset hike?
Sunset, perhaps.
Yeah, sunset, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is fun. Marshmallow roasting or hot cocoa sipping?
Hot cocoa sipping, I think.
Hot cocoa sipping, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
You can put stuff in the cocoa that makes it even better.
Absolutely.
Sipping it.
See, there
Can't
you go.
do that with a marshmallow.
And you don't get all the sticky stuff on your fingers.
Oh, it's all about the sticky thing.
Yeah, I don't like
yes.
the sticky stuff.
Yes. Okay. Hammock or chair?
Hammock.
I say chair.
Campfire games or nature sketching?
Campfire dreams.
Yeah. Campfire dreams.
Okay. Flashlight or headlamp?
Headlamp.
Flashlight.
Oh, so
Ooh.
that's
How did we stay married for 34 years? We don't agree on anything.
You use a headlamp because you're doing stuff with your hands.
Yeah.
I love it. I love this. Okay.
We have been married. It'll be the marriage year 34 for us.
Wow, that's pretty awesome.
Congratulations.
We're very close.
Yes.
We're this October for us will be 32.
Oh,
32?
awesome. Congratulations.
No, 33.
October.
Are you sure?
Oh no, shoot. That's right. I did the math wrong. I did the math wrong.
Yeah.
It was 32 this past year, 33 this coming
Okay.
October. Well, I didn't know I forgot
All
I
right,
was.
so you're-
That's okay. Let's do just a couple more. Midnight snack or early morning coffee?
Early morning coffee.
Yeah, early morning coffee for
There
sure.
you go.
Okay. Guitar sing-along or ghost stories?
Ghost stories.
Yeah, we did a video of us singing ghost stories.
Okay, last one. Campfire charades or trivia?
I like trivia.
Oh, trivia, definitely. We have so much useless information. We
Yeah,
love
you're a
trivia.
font of useless
Well,
information.
see, you guys agreed to disagree on the ones that you had, and then the majority they agreed on.
That was really good, Gina.
Yeah, that was fun. So thank you, listener, for that. I appreciate that.
Oh, yeah, whoever did that,
That
was
was
a
fun.
lot of fun. So.
Okay, so let's get into this real quick because Gina's said the word listener twice in this little segment, and you guys may have never thought of this before or not, but we talked about it at the very beginning of our podcast, and we're just unsure about it. So okay, so here's the thing: you guys have a very passionate, loyal audience of followers, thousands and thousands of them. And you're creating videos and you're putting them out, and a lot of them you are speaking to your audience. Just like Gina and I on our podcast, we are talking to our listener. So when you do that, do you refer to them as listeners in our case, or viewers in your case, or do you do it singular? Like, because in theory, like one person's watching a video of yours by themselves, or, you know, it's not like they're in a group of people watching your video. Most of the people listening to our podcast are by themselves in a car or on a walk or something like that. So, you know, you hear,
So are you talking to the individual
yeah.
or a group?
Are you referring to one person who's enjoying your content creation at that time, or are you talking to the mass of your audience or listenership or viewership?
Well, thinking about what we do for the videos, we'll just say we'll bring you along as we do, or as we show you something. So I do think we are more singular than viewers.
Yeah.
I don't know if we would ever refer them to as viewers, except maybe in a community post or.
Yeah. Well, and we try and be, I think you just have to be natural in these circumstances. So to refer to somebody as hello viewers or something like that, I think, we're trying just to create that atmosphere of just, hey, hang out with us.
Yeah, just join us for doing what we're doing today, sort of thing.
But when we watch other channels, Cindy and I are adamant that, and we watch, like I say, a lot of other channels, not just RV channels, but all kinds of channels. You have to be someone you'd want to. We always say it's got to be somebody you'd want to sit around with a beer and around a campfire.
Yeah,
with.
It's someone you'd want to have a conversation with, someone you'd want to, talk to.
And Absolutely. So it's always that. I think it is a singular type of person. We're referring to that person who wants to come and hang out with us.
Like, come and join us. Come and sit down and have a conversation with us. Sort of. We want to personalize it a bit.
Well, and we feel the same way. That's why we want these kind of conversations with our guests to just sound like the four of us are sitting around a campfire chatting, and
make them feel part of it.
Yeah, but then with just in visualizing like how people typically listen to a podcast, we felt like, if we referred to it that way, it needed to be singular as well, like listener. And so early on, we joked around about the fact that, well, maybe we only have one listener.
Well, we do. We only have one. I think, no, baby. We're up to 10 now.
Well, yeah, I think we're up to 10. Yeah.
Yep.
So,
which is fabulous.
Yeah. We're growing leaps and bounds, but yeah, the kind of podcast I like to listen to personally are ones that there's multiple people having a conversation about a subject I'm interested in. And so, if they're having a good conversation, I feel like I'm part of it. So even if I'm listening to it by myself, then I feel like I'm in it. And so, yeah, that's why we refer to them as the listener. If and
it's as one,
it's something we kind of not struggle with, but it's a balance for any YouTuber. Is how much do you just, hey, follow us along,
right?
And versus how much do you edit and throw in a few like the music, the B-roll stuff, the stuff that makes the video kind of a movie versus just walk along with us kind of thing.
Yeah. So it's a balance, I think.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I think you guys are doing it right because your videos are very popular, your channel's popular, and
you're doing a great job.
Doing an awesome job.
Mm-hmm.
So
thank you very much.
Appreciate that.
So in 20 plus years of Airstreaming and traveling the country, obviously, let's talk for a little bit about like maybe each of what you consider to be your most epic trip / experience that you've had in the Airstream.
That's a good one. I want to say one of my best memories was when we went out west to the International in
Rock
Springs, correct. And we stopped off at Devil's Tower and watched Close Encounters of the Third Kind. They had an outdoor theater
at the
campground, and we had a view of Devil's Tower just behind it. And I think that was just absolutely epic.
I bet so.
It sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I would agree with Cindy. Totally watching Close Encounters right underneath Devil's Tower was awesome. But there's one experience that I think of when I think about the RVing community. We were at a Corps of Engineers in Iowa. And again, people are like, Iowa? What kind of, why would you RV in Iowa? Why aren't you RVing in the Florida Keys or something? But we were at the campground, and all of a sudden we got a knock on the door, and it was a lady that said, we see you're from Vermont, and we have to make sure you have some Iowa corn, because that's what we do best here. And she came by with a plate of
a tray
of
a dozen
ears of corn
boiled.
And she even gave us the butter to go with it. And she's like, we want you Vermonters to have real Iowa corn. And it just, to this day, I still think about that. And I'm like, what a nice person. I mean,
that was very special.
Total stranger. Total stranger. Yeah. Yeah, that's all.
I remember that was the same campground where when that lady carved us that piece of wood from the Mississippi River.
Yeah, you'll still see it in our videos. There's a piece of driftwood that says LuvSubbin. And I'm not even sure I had talked to the person beforehand. I might have.
Briefly, I think.
Briefly. But she came by and carved this piece of wood and painted LuvSubbin on and painted like a picture of Iowa with a star where we were camping in and gave that to us.
Yes,
wow.
that was amazing.
That's very
and
special.
I literally said, we will have this in our RV the rest of our lives. And to this day, it's still
there.
It's still traveling, and it will always be there because that was just, and this is Iowa. And it just, that trip just blew me away.
Yeah.
You know, of all the times, of all the people we met, the nice people,
Yeah, they're nice people. It's been amazing.
Do you think that, were they drawn to the Airstream? Were they drawn to your popularity as being on YouTube, or were they just being friendly RVers that, you know, just wanted to reach out?
I think they were just the friendliest RVers on the planet.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a little weird having a Vermont plate out in the middle of Iowa.
Yeah, a lot of people were asking, why we were going that far west or where we were.
You don't see a lot of the green license plates.
Yes,
so.
correct.
Sure.
We're a very small state, so.
But yeah, it was just that, and that's the thing, you know, when we talk about RV, when we bought the Airstream 23 years ago, I would say, I used to joke with the friends at work, we don't like camping. We like traveling. We don't like being at campgrounds. We don't like, and since actually buying the RV, we love it. We love the people. We love the community of not just Airstreamers, but just anybody who owns an RV.
Yeah, the camping community.
I mean, it's just so cool to talk to folks and
absolutely just seeing where everybody's from. People have different experiences to share, and it's just a lot of fun just to talk to people.
Yep.
Well, I think that's RVers in general. You know, I think they're a special breed.
Sure, they are. And then, you know, you take that a step further into the Airstream community, right? I mean, you guys are very committed members of the Airstream International Club, and volunteerism that you do there within the club is great, and been to a lot of rallies and stuff. So I'm sure you're enjoying that aspect of.
Well, being over the vendors and stuff, that's a lot of work and stuff that y'all do. So thank you for that.
We appreciate the work that's done, or appreciate you thanking. We start working on that even before the rally ends. We were working on York at Sedalia.
But it's like, I mean, it's all volunteer. You're not being compensated for that, but you're doing it because you want that to be a enjoyable, successful part of the international rally for all the other Airstreamers. So you're just doing it out of the joy and the commitment to the club.
Yeah, and there's a certain satisfaction of seeing a show come together that you've been planning for months and months and months, just to see how it all turns out. So, and having the vendors be happy and having the members be happy as well.
Yeah, that's true.
And we've gotten to know some of the vendors, so we see the same ones every year.
Yeah,
and it's kind of like another community.
It's a little vendor community as well.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That sounds wonderful.
I meant to ask this before while we were talking about your favorite trips and stuff, but do you guys keep track of any statistics on your mileage or your anything like that? Like how?
I think you're asking the right person.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're kind of I'm a data guy. I'm an old engineer, and so we keep track of. We have 129,813.6 miles on the Airstream.
Wow.
I literally will track mileage, so I do it with a spiral bound. No, maybe I'm getting old. People seem to think, well, your truck calculates all that. Well, it does, maybe, probably, but like literally, if I'm moving campsites, I'll record 0.1 or 0.2 miles in my mileage book and add that to our overall mileage.
Right.
We keep track of
the gas mileage that we get, the cost of gas.
Yep. And we do that we also at the end of the year put together a cost of RVing.
A data review.
Where we talk about the average cost of campgrounds, fuel.
What we paid that year for stuff. And we did this year, and we compared it to the previous years to see
previous 3 years.
Yes, to see how the prices have changed.
Sure. And
it works out great because we've got friends of ours who are just on the cusp of retiring, and they're trying to figure out, can we do, what is this going to look like when we start traveling?
Yeah. How much is this going to cost?
Right. And we're able to sit there and say, well,
this is our numbers.
Here's our numbers. Here's our data. Here's our, our stuff. So yeah, we do track everything.
That's good. And it's good to know that is, when you put those videos out, kind of how-to videos basically of what does this cost, it's coming from real world numbers that you guys are producing and tracking. So that's good. So give me the mileage one more time. Like how many miles?
129,816.3. Wow. I might get that 3 and 6.
Wow, man.
It's 129,816. So
that's pretty awesome.
But the thing is too, I enjoy it. People, sometimes I'll post on the forums, here's my numbers, and it, you'll get the inevitable, get a life kind of thing.
Yeah.
I love it. I love the numbers. I love being able to calculate this stuff and do standard deviations and mean versus.
Yep.
That's the engineer in him. Yeah.
Well, something just as simple as if you're on a really long run of travel one day, and I've done this, is you fill up your tank with fuel. You've got 300 miles in front of you to make that day for some reason, and you track your fuel burn and your time and all that kind of stuff, and then you compare it to the next time you do that and see if you can get a little more fuel efficiency or see if you can.
That's why he doesn't let me drive very much.
yeah.
Because I don't worry about that.
Yeah, Gina doesn't. She drives the truck like there's nothing behind her with regard to not worrying about what gear the truck's in, what RPM
no,
it's turning.
Care. I'm just driving it.
But for us, it's fun to see. One of the most interesting statistics over the time that we've tracked is the average tow mileage per day.
Yes.
Oh.
And as we've continued to do this year after, we officially retired in 2015.
15, yeah. Probably.
But we haven't really done big trips for the last 4 years. That's really our first big trips. And the average tow mileage per day has steadily gone down every single year. So it's like we're finally learning to slow down.
Yeah.
We're finally learning to not have to go 350, 400 miles in a day, that, those 220 milers, 200 and whatever.
And we're trying to stay at places a little longer as well.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing that new RVers fall into the trap of, and that is they get their RV and they hit the road and they're jumping around every 2 or 3 days to the next stop, the next stop, the next stop. And they don't really, slow down and spend time at each location and really take it all in. They're hitting the high points and keep going. And when you can slow down, or, it may take you years to learn this, but when someone finally learns that and they slow down, then they actually have the opportunity to enjoy a location and the people and the adventure itself, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you appreciate it more too.
Yeah. Because we hit the ground running really hard at first. So, we speak from experience. We're not just making this up, but yeah.
We did.
Mm-hmm.
I think starting off as weekend warriors probably encouraged us to try to, get there fast and see what we could and then get back.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just a different style of RV, I think.
Well, and that's the thing with people who aren't full-time or retired and they have, a week or 2 weeks out of the summer or something that they can go and, RV and adventure or whatever. They have to cram it all in as fast as they can. But otherwise, they wouldn't have time to see this. You don't have time to see this country in a lifetime if you can't get out there and experience. And, some people can't, and that's okay. But, that's what YouTube videos help with, right?
Sure. Bring
right.
Bring some of that to them.
And like, we see so many channels. One of the things we talk about our channel is if you want a channel that's going to go to all the national parks, find another channel, because that's not us. What we want to find are all the different stuff. And there's so much of that around.
It is.
And it just comes from hanging out in the city, like you say, hanging out at that bar, and talking to someone, as opposed to just beelining from Moab to Arches.
And we'll get to some of the national parks eventually, but it's not high priority for us right now. And we're just looking for the unusual and different things that we can see. Americana especially.
Yeah, for sure.
When we first hit the road, Chris's parents passed away years ago, but my parents were like, we'd say, oh, we went here and we talked to this person. They told us about this other thing. So we're doing a sidetrack and we're going over here and blah, blah. And they're like, now, who is this what you were talking to? And how do you know they weren't sending you somewhere else? And, I'm like, okay, Mom, take a deep breath. It's okay. We're going to be safe. It's okay. But, when they don't get out there and they don't understand, when you talk to other people, locals and stuff, they were very protective of us, and we're like, no, we're good. We know what we're doing here.
Some of those smaller, or smaller is not the right word, but like just some of the less well-known destinations are sometimes some of the most interesting and the most impactful in your life. If so it doesn't always have to be the Grand Canyon every time. I mean, it could be, really unique, smaller stuff.
So
right. And it's one of the reasons we don't make reservations long term in advance, is so that when we find something, we're like, oh yeah, we'll go there.
Yeah.
Just boom, off we go.
Absolutely.
It was like the Healing Springs that we went to.
Yeah.
See, that's fabulous. That's a great thing to go and experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we do a lot of sorry, let me say this. We do a lot of Zooms with our community and stuff. And on one of the Zooms, we were talking about adventures and those little side things that people have done. And this one couple, they have a Class A, and they were talking about a trip that they were on. And Chris, you can help me because I've got corn in my head since they've told the corn story. Yeah. I've got corn in my head. I think it was dates maybe or something. But there was a sign on the side of the road. They're going down the highway, just 2-lane highway or whatever. And there's a sign on the side of the road that just had saying, up ahead, let's use corn as an example, up ahead, corn. And so they said, oh, well, we could use that. Let's go do that. And then they get up there, and then you have to turn, and they turn down this road. And then there was another sign that turned, and now they're on a dirt road, and now trees are starting to cover over the road, and their Class A's hitting the trees. And they're like, what are we doing? Like, where are we going? And why are we following these signs? But they just had this, adventure spirit. And they ended up coming out into someone's farm way off the main highway. And they said it was the best experience that they'd ever had. Like they got to meet those people. Those people told them somewhere else to go and restaurants to go as they were passing through. And it became a very big adventure for them. And, those are the fun things, right?
Yeah, those are the things you remember.
The memories that you make.
Yes.
For sure. What was it about the Healing Springs, Cindy, you were going to say?
Yeah, well, that was a fun one that we sort of found because I was just looking for something interesting to find in South Carolina to do, because we were doing the whole thing with no reservations, and we were like, where do we go next? And so I looked up the tourist page for South Carolina, and they said these are the interesting things to do, and it says Healing Springs, and that was very, very local.
Yep.
And I don't remember what town it was.
Yeah, it's somewhere Blackwoods or something.
Something like that. But the Healing Springs there were amazing because it was all locals coming to get the water here, and they were not bringing it back in small jugs. They were bringing it back in huge 5-gallon containers and bringing it back to their house.
So it was like a little hidden secret. They knew what the deal was.
Exactly. And I had brought I was going to bring my thermos to fill up. But then when I saw all these people, I'm like, I'm filling up my 5-gallon jerry cans with these, and that was the best water to make coffee of all time.
I bet so. Wow.
It was very good tasting water.
Yeah.
So it's just finding those little, like I say, that's popping up into our heads versus the stuff you're supposed to go see.
Yeah. That's true. So we've been chatting it up an hour and 13 minutes now. Time flies, right? But hey, but before we wrap up, I do want to ask, does LuvSubbin have anything cool and exciting happening in 2025? I know you're going to get your Airstream back hopefully sooner than later. And have you got anything on your radar for the spring or summer?
Well, we're bouncing the idea of having some interior work done on it, as we said before. So that could be fun.
Yeah, that might be interesting. We're going to see how the repairs go first at Jackson Center. And then from there, we might go to Kentucky to Vintage Base Camp.
Yep.
And restorations.
Yeah. I see something there.
And see if they have a plan for us, perhaps. We'll have the International Rally in York, Pennsylvania.
Yep.
And I think we're going to stay a little closer to the Northeast this year again.
Yeah. I think this year is going to be one of those Northeast. Although some guy one of our friends has got an Airstream rally that he's planning with the Blue Angels flying in it.
Whoa,
what was
that'd be
that,
cool.
Michigan?
Yeah, in Michigan. I think you definitely need to go to that. But it'll be a, you know, it's like we were saying. This year is going to be a year of just no plans. Just go out. We'll see what we want to see. Go where we want to go. You know, in 2026, the international rally's in Minot, North Dakota. So we're going to use that as another.
That'll inspire us to go off.
6 months.
We've hit what, 43 states?
We've hit 43 states with the Airstream at least one night and doing something.
Yeah.
That's our rule.
So we'll hit some of those West Coast states like California, Washington, and Oregon that we haven't.
Arizona, Nevada.
Yep, that we haven't hit yet.
Yeah. So very cool.
Yeah, just be a fun year. We'll keep the YouTube going,
and we always enjoy doing the rallies.
And we'll do some Airstream rallies. Yeah. And kind of float things around, see what we can do.
That's good. So, like, if you do end up doing some interior customizations, will you capture that experience and create YouTube videos out of it? Will you? Is that a plan, or will you kind of like be a surprise reveal?
Anybody that we would have do the work, because we're not going to do the work. You know, a lot of these YouTube channels, it seems like, okay, we're going to build a boat or we're going to build a
we have
van.
done some stuff to the Airstream, but this is a little bit more than our capabilities are. And we would actually get permission from
if they want to
Vintage Base Camp and see if they were willing to, you know, be part of the video. We would love to do that.
Makes sense.
Have to work with them to see how they want to do it.
Yeah, cool. we're very careful about you know, making sure people want to be part of our videos and stuff like that. So
that's smart. Very smart. Well, we can't thank you enough for being on our podcast and spending some time with us. And obviously, we look forward to connecting with you up at York at the International Rally.
Absolutely.
And
okay, good.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yep. And hope you had fun. We did, and I think it was.
We had a blast.
Yeah, great conversation. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys for taking time out of your day and visiting with us today and sharing your stories, traveling, and your YouTube stories. We do appreciate everything you've done.
Good stuff.
Well, thank you very much for the invite, Chris and Gina. We had a lot of fun too.
Yeah. Thank you for having us, for sure.
If there's one thing we like talking about, it's Airstreams.
It is.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we obviously, everybody probably knows how to find you, but share your socials real quick and your where everybody can find your stuff online.
Yeah, we're LuvSubbin everywhere. So LuvSubbin.com is our website, and then we're LuvSubbin on YouTube,
Facebook, Instagram,
and X.
Just
LuvSubbin.
Very cool. All right, you guys. Thanks so much. We will see you down the road, okay?
Hey, that's what we'll do. We'll see you down the road.
Woo.